Welcome to the Green Economy, where we discuss sustainable development. Now, on a daily, manufacturers ensure to provide quality products through the UNBS to their customers. But how does someone mark their product as green that will not only attract investors, but also customers to their business? This can then affect consumer decision and also attract investors who are environmentally conscious in the long-term run. Eco-labels, also known as environmental labels, are defined as self-declared environmental claims made by manufacturers and businesses. Guided by ISO 14021, the claimant can declare the environmental quality of their product without set criteria, benchmarks, nor quality checks. However, this declaration should be verifiable and must not be misleading. Actually, there is no single organization in charge of all eco-labels globally. Eco-labels are typically developed and administered by different organizations and agencies, both at national and international levels. These organizations set the criteria and standards for products and services that meet specific environmental sustainability requirements. There are close to more than 100 companies that are involved in the development and promotion of eco-labels. Some of these companies include Global Ecolabelling Network, GEN, International Organization for Standardization, ISO, United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, European Union Ecolabel, EU Ecolabel, Forest Stewardship Council, FSC, and Marine Stewardship Council, MSC. Now, let us take a look at a brief history of eco-labeling. How did it come into place? During the 19th century, the poor living and working conditions that accompanied rapid industrialization and urbanization led activists to raise their voices against human and resource exploitation. That is when the debate about sustainability actually began. At different times, active campaigns for social and environmental awareness have compelled authorities, including business corporations, to improve conditions for people and the environment. Among several initiatives in the 20th century, eco-labels were introduced to certify the environmental performance of a specific product or service. Today, they are found globally and are important not only to climate-conscious consumers, but to the clients of the fund management industry. Governments and regulatory bodies are still working to develop eco-labels for investment products as they chart a pathway to greener economies. There are various types of eco-labeling. Narrowing down to the types of eco-labeling, several types of environmental labeling exist, including those which are differentiated into groups and classified by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO. Starting with ISO Type 1. ISO Type 1 labels are those that identify the overall environmental preference of a product, that is to say, a good or service within a product category based upon life cycle considerations. In contrast to a self-styled environmental symbol or claim statement developed by a manufacturer or service provider, an environmental labeling is awarded by an impartial third party to products that meet environmental leadership criteria. They are also multi-criteria and multi-sectoral, meaning they conform to different sectors of manufacturing or the economy. ISO Type 1. ISO Type 1-like labels, often referred to as certification schemes or sustainability labeling, share the same characteristics as Type 1, but often are focused on specific impacts. That is to say, energy consumption, agricultural practice, and applied only to specific products, which include energy-using appliances and agricultural commodities. Organic labels or Rainforest Alliance labels would be examples. Lastly, ISO Type 2 is a self-declared environmental label, often a single attribute, sometimes a company's own environmental logo. Finally, ISO Type 3 is a product declaration that provides more detailed quantitative information of products. It takes the form of a matrix and is similar to declarations of the nutritional characteristics of products. Going ahead, the concept of environmental labeling encompasses several key elements, starting with evaluation criteria. Environmental labels are based on predefined criteria or standards that assess the environmental performance of a product or service. These criteria typically cover various aspects such as resource consumption, energy efficiency, greenhouse gas emissions, waste generation, water usage, and the use of hazardous substances. The criteria may vary depending on the specific environmental labeling scheme or certification program. Life cycle approach. Environmental labels often adopt a life cycle perspective, considering the environmental impacts of a product or service throughout its entire life cycle. This includes the extraction and processing of raw materials, manufacturing, packaging, distribution, use, and disposal. By considering the entire life cycle, environmental labeling helps identify the overall environmental impact and potential hotspots across different stages. Third-party verification. Environmental labeling schemes often involve independent third-party verification to ensure the credibility and reliability of the environmental claims made by the product or service. Verification is conducted by accredited certification bodies or testing laboratories. These entities assess the product's compliance with the defined environmental criteria, review documentation, conduct on-site audits, and perform testing as needed. The verification process provides assurance to consumers that the environmental claims are valid and backed by reliable evidence. Certification and labeling. Upon successful verification, products or services meeting the specified environmental criteria are awarded the environmental label or eco-label. The label is then displayed on the product, packaging, promotional materials, or accompanying documentation. The label provides a recognizable symbol or mark that communicates the product's environmental attributes to consumers. Consumer information. Environmental labels aim to provide consumers with clear and transparent information about the environmental performance of a product or service. This information allows consumers to compare different products based on their environmental impact and make environmentally conscious purchasing decisions. Environmental labels may provide details about energy efficiency, carbon footprint, water usage, recycling capabilities, or other relevant environmental indicators. Lastly, this is where the economic aspect comes in. Not only directing consumer decisions, that is attracting environmental conscious customers, environmental labeling schemes often encourage continuous improvement in environmental performance that in the long-term run cuts the cost of production. Manufacturers and service providers are encouraged to adopt more sustainable practices, reduce their environmental impact, and meet progressively higher standards over time. Environmental labels can provide incentives for companies to invest in research and development, adopt cleaner technologies, and implement environmentally friendly production methods. Well, since we are discussing business, eco-labeling as a practice benefits one's business through the following ways. 1. Market access and competitive advantage. Eco-labeling allows businesses in Uganda to access domestic and international markets that prioritize sustainable and environmentally friendly products. Eco-labeled products often have a competitive advantage as they cater to the growing demand from environmentally conscious consumers. By obtaining eco-label certification, businesses can differentiate themselves from competitors, expand their customer base, and explore new market opportunities. Enhance brand reputation and consumer trust. Eco-labeling demonstrates a business's commitment to environmental responsibility and sustainability. It enhances the brand reputation by signaling that the company's products have met stringent environmental criteria and undergone independent verification. This builds consumer trust and loyalty, as environmentally conscious customers are more likely to choose products with credible eco-labels, leading to increased sales and customer satisfaction. Compliance with environmental standards. Eco-labeling programs often require businesses to meet specific environmental standards and criteria. By participating in these programs, businesses in Uganda can ensure compliance with environmental regulations and guidelines. This helps them avoid penalties and legal issues while demonstrating their dedication to responsible environmental practices. Number 4, resource efficiency and cost savings. Eco-labeling encourages businesses to adopt sustainable production processes, reduce waste, and optimize resource usage. By implementing eco-friendly practices such as energy-efficient technologies, waste reduction strategies, and sustainable supply chain management, businesses can experience cost savings in the long run. Reduced energy consumption, lower material wastage, and streamlined operations also come up, cutting the cost of production. Number 5, innovation and product differentiation. Eco-labeling often drives innovation, reduced energy consumption, lower material wastage, and streamlined operations also come up, cutting the cost of production. Number 5, innovation and product differentiation. Eco-labeling often drives innovation by encouraging businesses to develop environmentally friendly products and adopt sustainable practices. This can result in the creation of new product lines, technologies, and business models that cater to the evolving needs of the market. Eco-labeling provides an opportunity for businesses in Uganda to differentiate themselves by offering innovative and sustainable solutions that align with consumer preferences and environmental priorities. Number 6, access to technical assistance and capacity building. Eco-labeling programs often provide businesses with access to technical assistance, capacity building initiatives, and knowledge sharing platforms. This can help businesses in Uganda improve their understanding of sustainable practices, gain expertise in environmental management, and stay updated with the latest trends and advancements in eco-friendly manufacturing. It enables businesses to enhance their capabilities, implement sustainable strategies effectively, and continuously improve their environmental performance. Number 7, contributing to sustainable development goals. Eco-labeling aligns businesses in Uganda with global sustainability goals and initiatives. By actively participating in eco-labeling programs, businesses can contribute to environmental conservation, resource preservation, and the overall sustainable development of their country. This demonstrates corporate social responsibility and helps businesses build a positive public image, attracting more customers. Number 8, eco-labeling leads to improved efficiency and reduced operational costs in a way that energy conservation and other resource reduction measures are opted for during the life cycle of the product. Nothing is perfect, and here is where the downsides of eco-labeling come in. Number 1, implementation costs. Obtaining and maintaining eco-label certification can involve expenses related to audits, assessments, and compliance with specific criteria. Small and medium-sized businesses in Uganda, particularly, may face financial challenges in meeting the initial costs and ongoing requirements of eco-labeling. Limited market access. Some eco-labels may have limited recognition or demand in certain markets, potentially restricting the reach of businesses in Uganda. If the target market does not prioritize or recognize specific eco-labels, the perceived advantage of certification may not translate into increased sales or market access. Number 3, Ugandan consumers are not environmentally cautious. Eco-labeling may as well be important but not recognized at all in the Ugandan market, and this will not benefit the business as much as it will be benefiting the globe in the long-term run. This means that in case a manufacturer or business owner carries out eco-labeling it may not bring back any benefits or returns because it will not have any impression on the customers. Number 4, complex certification process. The certification process for eco-labeling can be time-consuming and complex, involving extensive documentation, audits, and compliance assessments. This may require businesses in Uganda to allocate significant resources and time to navigate the certification process, potentially diverting attention and energy from other operational priorities. Number 5, market confusion and labeling overload. The presence of multiple eco-labels with varying criteria and standards can lead to confusion among businesses and consumers. The proliferation of different eco-labels and certifications may create labeling overload, making it difficult for businesses to select the most suitable and credible eco-label for their products. This can also lead to consumer skepticism and confusion when trying to understand and compare what products to consume. Number 6, increased product costs. Eco-labeled products may sometimes come at a higher price point due to the costs associated with meeting the criteria and standards set by eco-labeling programs. This can be a disadvantage for consumers, especially those with limited purchasing power, as they may perceive eco-labeled products as less affordable compared to non-labeled alternatives. Number 7, greenwashing and credibility concerns. Greenwashing refers to misleading or exaggerated environmental claims made by businesses to promote their product as eco-friendly when they may not meet stringent environmental standards. Consumers in Uganda may face challenges in identifying genuine and credible eco-labels among a crowded marketplace, potentially leading to skepticism and mistrust towards eco-labeled products and certifications. It's important to note that these disadvantages can be mitigated or overcome through effective implementation, consumer education, standardization of eco-labeling criteria, and transparent communication between businesses, consumers, and regulatory bodies. Eco-labeling programs should strive for clarity, credibility, and inclusivity to maximize the benefits for businesses and consumers in Uganda. Generally in Uganda today, eco-labeling is not a popular practice among Ugandan manufacturers because so many of the consumers are not yet environmentally conscious, and so an eco-label may not necessarily attract consumers, and opting out for eco-labeling may not profit the business that much locally. Though, for any business owner wanting to hit the international market, eco-labeling must be a practice to consider because it will do you wonders. In the near future, if eco-labeling is enforced by the UNBS and accepted and adopted by all manufacturers, then the public will be consuming clean and at the same time letting manufacturers improve their processing technologies, cutting costs to yield more profit. As we conclude our wonderful and fruitful discussion, I have a take-home for two parties. First, for the consumers, and second, for the producers. For the consumers, especially for the ones that are environmentally aware and conscious, please check for your products to see if they're eco-labeled when you visit a supermarket. And if it's eco-friendly, choose it because it will not only be healthy for your environment, but also for your body. And for the producers, eco-labeling is quite expensive, but will be a long-term investment for your business because it will not only attract investors to feed your business, but also enhance profitability through attracting customers. It has been Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business, and we are located on Plot 42 Nile Avenue, and also endeavor to visit all our social media handles. Thank you.
Smart 24, driving business.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've